I'm with Dory Gorman. Dory and her husband Rich are the campus pastors here at Community Edgewater, and I've had the privilege of working alongside them for the past 2 years since they moved to this community. And I can tell you, they have really embraced their identity as missionaries. And Dory, I just love to ask you, I know this whole notion of being a missionary has taken on special meaning for you, but tell us a little bit more how that has hit you personally.
Yeah, it's great when you get to be a part of something that you're like, only God could do this. There's no way this could happen apart from God. And that's what for us, as we've moved into this neighborhood, as we moved into Chicago to be missionaries here, I feel like we've got to see some of these stories unfold. And for me, it really began a couple years ago. Actually, we had just moved to Chicago and we had driven back to the Yellow Box to be a part of one of the celebration services. And at this particular service, Dave really challenged everyone to take serious the B of begin with prayer, to begin praying for someone in your life that you could help find their way back to God. And I remember the service ended with like a stack of baptism t-shirts up at the front. You could come forward and take a baptism shirt and treat that as your reminder to pray and to pray for someone who's finding their way back to God. And so I took that shirt and I remember driving back into the city and hanging it up on our wall and really praying, who would be the first person at our campus that I might have the opportunity to baptize. And so we just started with that prayer, and probably, 6, 7 months later, we were at another thing with community. We're at an all-campus leadership community and heard a similar kind of challenge, but this time it was, instead of the focus being on begin with prayer, the focus was really on listening and eating. And what that looked like was we all received some barbecue sauce and some matches, and it really had a challenge over the summer. Just have a cookout and use that as an opportunity to listen to your neighbors, to get to know them, and to eat. And our campus has these things, chill and grills. There's sort of these cookouts, these barbecues that we have. And so we've been doing that, but something this time for me really began to go, okay, I really do want to just listen. And maybe, someone that we invite or someone that comes, maybe there'd be an opportunity to get to know them a little bit more. So we did just that.
So I remember both of those challenges too. And if I have it right, you began by really asking God to, and praying and saying, Lord, I'd love to have the opportunity, if possible, to have the privilege of baptizing somebody. Yeah. And then when you and Rich started hosting these chill and grills, these cookouts at your house, you asked God also to help you listen more intently to Him and to the people that might be coming to these cookouts to help you maybe connect with somebody in particular. Is that right?
Yeah. That's
okay.
Exactly right.
I'm kind of beginning to see a pattern here. All right. So what happened next?
Yeah. So the first chilling grill we had after that challenge to really listen, I met Courtney, and I had known of Courtney and I'd seen her. Her roommate Josh is a part of our campus, is a part of Edgewater, and so I knew of her. But she came for the first time to this cookout that we had at our house, and I could tell, she really liked it, but was sort of surprised that she liked it because, maybe the Christians she had met before were sort of weird or whatever, and we were just normal enough. I'm sure we have our own
It's always good
oddities.
to be normal enough.
Yeah, normal enough that's surprised her, and we just sort of began to get to know each other, and her and I started a friendship, and then she started actually coming on Sundays to celebrate with us at Edgewater, and it was great. Some of the steps she began to take is she actually began to serve. She was a part of Kids City and also our arts team, and so every Sunday, we're serving together, and that was a great step for us. And then also, Courtney and I just began to spend time together and began to hear more of her story and her hear more of my story. And yeah, I'll never forget December 16th. It was the day that she really decided I'm ready to really take this next step and be baptized. But I could tell you more about it, but it'd be better to really just hear it from Courtney.
My name is Courtney West, and I've been going to Community Christian Edgewater for about 3 months now. I found the church through my roommate, Joshua. He found Community Edgewater online when we first moved to Chicago in September last year. So I was hanging out with, some of the people from the church, but I didn't start going until this September. It was a very rough summer for me. I was at a very, very stressful job in New York. I had a lot going on just in my personal life and then at work. So when I came back to Chicago, I was just needing some relief from all that. We would do a chill and grill every other Friday night, and it was so much fun, like hanging out with all these people and just starting to talk with them. And I met Rich and Dory, who are the pastors at Community Edgewater. I just loved them so much, and I realized that they think so much like I do, because I had had a lot of bad experiences with some churches in my past, and it was so nice to meet someone who had a lot of the same views that I had. So I was like, I've got to go to this church. I'm one of those Christians who think, oh, well, I don't have to go to church. As long as I'm praying and I read my Bible and I try and do good things, I don't really need to go to church. I didn't realize how much I was really missing it until I went back. And I was like, wow, like this is really feeding my soul. And I need to be here now. And I haven't missed a Sunday since, and I don't plan on missing one. A lot of the people who go are very laid back. I mean, we all have really busy lives, but we all find time to come together and just hang out, which I really love. I love not only being a part of a church, but being a part of a church that hangs out outside of church. It's nice to have that sense of community. I mean, it's right there in the title. I actually have not been baptized. My family, growing up, they were always like, we want you to make that decision. So as I got a little older and we started not attending church, baptism just didn't happen. They haven't talked about baptism at Community Edgewater yet. Hey, I'd be willing to do it though. Sign me up. I've found my people. I found this family who is helping me strengthen my relationship with God.